Mr. Trosh, are we ready to start the recording?
We are
Okay,
recording.
good. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Please feel free, if you have questions along the way, please feel free to use the Q&A feature. We have counselors all of our counselors are here with us this evening, and they will be answering questions within that Q&A feature. We will also answer questions at the end of the presentation. We're so happy that you're here with us tonight. We got to spend the day in your students' English class to review the course selection process with them. So we're going to go through some basics to sophomore year and also that registration process. Miss Andrea Gosnell, MYP coordinator, will be presenting, as well as Mr. Anderson, school counselor. My name is Julianne Ceccarelli, and I would like to introduce our counseling staff. We have Mr. Jeremy Troche. He serves students with the last name that start with A to CHOI. Mrs. Vogel, her caseload is students with the last name CHOJ to JGOM. My caseload is students with the last name GON to LIN. Miss Cizik's caseload is last name LIO to PARK. Mr. Anderson is PARL to SMI, and Miss Silva is SMJ to Z. Our wonderful counseling secretary is Miss Stevenson. If kids have any questions, they can come in, and she will direct them to where maybe they need to go, give them advice. So that's always the first stop. We direct them to see Miss Stevenson. And also Miss Talamonte supports us. She helps us with scheduling, testing, both really wonderful ladies that help us and support us in our job and help the students. Um, Next slide, Mr. Anderson. Okay. This year, you're going to have to plan your summer trips a little earlier because school is starting earlier. It starts on Wednesday, August 9th, and that semester one will conclude before winter break. Um, Registration will be held on Wednesday, August 12th, which is the week before school starts. It's important to attend registration. Students will pick up their iPad, pick up their schedule, um, pick up their passwords, take their yearbook photo. So it's an important day. Turn in their emergency card. So we really encourage students to attend registration. This is some important information. Um, we we have two start times at Claremont High School. Period 0 starts at 7:25. Period 1 starts at 8:30. The students indicated their preferred start time on their course selection form today. We have limited zero period class offerings, so although you might request that, just know that sometimes that isn't always a possibility, depending on the master schedule. Sophomores are required to take 6 courses. There is one lunch period, and one difference from sophomore year is that students can get an off-campus pass. So they need to meet the grades, attendance, and discipline requirements. The off-campus lunch pass is available. There's an application form that parents and students must sign, and that is available to pick up at the student services window. And so that's something that's new and kind of exciting. And it is reviewed at the beginning of the criteria is reviewed at the beginning of each semester. And who is eligible for a lunch pass is posted by student ID number. So students will know if they're eligible. Okay. The next slide is credits. Students need 220 credits to graduate from Claremont High School. Credits. If a student takes 6 classes all 4 years, they will earn 240 credits. So there's a little bit of padding in there. A D is passing, but you must have a C or higher to move on in math, world language, or higher level science. And a C is required for those A through G requirements, which is the minimum requirements for four-year college. An F grade earns no credit, and a D or an F can be remediated in summer school. Okay, CHS grad requirements. So, as I said, it's 220 credits. 30 credits are social science. That's your world history, US history, government and economics, 40 credits of English. So you have to take 4 years of English. Math is minimum is 20 credits. That's 1 year of integrated math and 1 year of a general math. Science is 20 credits. That's 10 credits of a physical science and 10 credits of a life science. And then 10 credits of arts, fine arts, or a world language, or a career. So that's this is for graduation, or a CTE class, and 20 credits of PE. Okay, let's talk about PE. PE was the big conversation in classrooms today. You need to complete 20 credits of PE to graduate. Ninth grade, in ninth grade, your student is taking currently right now PE 9, MYP PE 9. In 10th grade, you must be consecutively enrolled in PE credits until you have met the requirements. If your student took it in summer school prior to ninth grade, um, they will have met the requirement. But if they just took PE this year, they will have earned 10 credits by the end of the school year. This summer, CHS will not be offering PE in summer school, which means if a student is in a special program like AVID or theater, then they would have to, they can take 7 classes, which would be a 0 through 6 schedule, or they could take 6 classes and take fitness PE. Fitness PE is online. It's an asynchronous online class. The work is due on Friday evening. So the kids can work on it all week long. So there's flexibility within the week when you work in it, but it is due at the end of the week. So there is flexibility, and we did talk with students about that. But for 10th graders, they can enroll in, it's not just called PE. This year it was PE 9, but as sophomores, they can choose from badminton, volleyball, bodybuilding, dance, the fitness PE online, or team sports. So if they were in a team sport this year, they can choose team sports. If they have not made a sports team, they would choose a PE. And then when the PE rosters come out, we would change their schedule. So I know there's a lot of questions about PE. We are happy to we've directed kids to come back at lunch, but we're happy to help with that. Okay, the A through G subject requirements. So I talked about the high school graduation requirements. Now we'll talk about the A through G requirements. These are the classes that you need to complete with a grade of C or better to be eligible for a 4-year college, 4-year university. And that's for the UC system and the Cal State. But that's the general rule that we have for students. So for those classes to count, you have to pass with a C or better. And the course has to be on your high school's approved A through G list. So history is 2 years. That's your US history and your world history. English is your 4 years. Math is 3 years, 4 years recommended. Science is 2 years, 3 years are recommended. Language, a world language is 2 years, 3 years recommended. And a fine visual and performing arts, a fine art, 1 year. And then 1 year of a college prep elective. Now, if you take 4 years of a science, it will overflow into that college prep elective. But government and econ count as college prep electives. So that G elective is taken care of with that gov and econ. Okay, PSAT. We offer the kids take the PSAT in October. They may sign up in September on our website, and the registration is through total registration. This is where Ms. Talamontes might come in to help if you have questions. She helps students register for this. We recommend that students take it in October because it is kind of a trial run for junior year because that PSAT in junior year, that's the National Merit Scholarship qualifying test. So it's a good first look for kids to take a look and see what's on the test. So we encourage students to take that. It's the same day as career day in the fall. Okay, the other set. So when students come in, we ask your students what their goals are. So that's sort of a conversation we're having, so we can help them plan for whatever they want to do next. So talking about that four-year college and being A through G eligible is one conversation. Another conversation we'll ask them is if they play sports. If you want to play a sport in college for Division One and Division Two, you need to be NCAA eligible, which means you have to get through the NCAA eligibility center. You have to be cleared through them. So be sure if you're interested in playing a sport in Division One or Division Two, you're even considering it, let your counselor know, because there are certain classes that you will need to take, and we want to make sure that you're eligible. You apply to the eligibility center during the spring of your junior year. And we've included, there's more information you can look at ncaa.com. And on our website, we have an NCAA worksheet in our extra links. Okay, summer school. So this year, for summer school, we will be offering credit recovery. That is to remediate a D or an F grade in English, biology, math, or a social science. We do have some advancement classes for advancement. That would be pre-calculus, which is chemistry, integrated math 2. We have offered 2 dual enrollment courses. Dual enrollment are courses that earn both high school credit and college credit. So, and they would count for the fine art requirement. So that's Art 110 and Art 199. And we will be offering ethnic studies. We have the tentative summer school dates listed. So the first session is June 17th to July 2nd. The second session is July 6th to July 17th. And it will be released. The official opening will be released by Dr. Mitchell. We don't know the exact date. We're hoping within the next week to week and a half. But Dr. Mitchell, look for an email from Dr. Mitchell. He'll be sending that information out. Oh, I think one more thing that has changed is the out of district coursework. So in our handbook this year on page 17, we will not be accepting advanced courses. So AP, IB, Advanced Placement, International Baccalaureate, or Community College classes, except those articulated with CHS, which would be the dual enrollment courses, will not be added to student transcripts, except in instances where the student has transferred to Claremont. So if you transfer to Claremont, we will take those, but we will not be taking those weighted classes back to our transcript. Okay. And now I'm going to turn this over to the slides over to Ms. DeLigio. Ms. DeLigio is the principal of San Antonio High School.
Thank you, Mrs. Ceccarelli. I want to talk a little bit about San Antonio because for some kids, this is a reality, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a punishment if your counselor is talking to your child about San Antonio. We do a couple of different things there. But let's talk about background, because when people hear continuation school, they think about how it was when we were all in school. And that's where the bad kids went. That's where the marijuana smokers went. That's where the pregnant kids went. A lot of changes have happened in the education code in the last 15 to 20 years. There is many more restorative practices where if students get caught with marijuana, they are not shipped out to the continuation school anymore. So we have become more of a alternative setting. We do offer credit recovery. There are some kids that do need that. If your student isn't doing well, definitely want to come over, take a tour with us. Both Mrs. Ceccarelli and Mrs. Cizik are former counselors of ours and can give you all kinds of great information on the school. So yes, we do offer credit recovery, but we have a growing population of students who need a smaller setting. They may not be behind in credits, and they don't necessarily need the credit recovery, but being on a campus of 2,000 kids is not a fit for them. And so they are starting to flourish when they come to us because we have such a low enrollment. Right now, our enrollment is hovering at about 65. We do have citrus dual enrollment classes, just like we do at CHS. Our classes focus on the counseling classes and in English. Um, our seniors take a class called English 103, and students who take English 101 and 103 have completed all of their citrus lower division English classes before they even actually get to citrus. And those are transferable classes to a 4-year school. We are a model continuation high school in the state of California, and we are the only continuation high school in the world to be an Apple distinguished school. Currently, we have a Baldy View ROP career exploration class. That's a CTE class. We are moving to an media arts and entertainment class next year that will have a business emphasis. We do have a student council, just like CHS has their ASB. We offer 5 different sports in athletics. Our counselor is also a licensed marriage family therapist, so she's able to offer both the traditional guidance counselor help with scheduling classes and social emotional health and looking at post-secondary goals, but she also does some therapeutic work for short-term therapy as well. We have partnerships with Claremont Sunrise Rotary and with the Kiwanis of Claremont. Our school has a no D policy. So one of the things you may hear is that D is for diploma and C is for college when it comes to grades. At San Antonio, we push our kids to do a little bit more than just the minimum. And so there is no D's. You either have an F or you have a C or above. So keep that in mind. Our kids who are there, they're doing well with us. Mostly because it's a smaller setting and because they get to really get to know their teachers, and the staff really get to know our families and our kids. Our class size ratio is 24 students to 1 teacher. That allows us to give additional support to kids, to, like I said, to really get to know them as well. We also have a modified block schedule. So our classes for most days are 80 minutes in length, allowing students to start their work and get additional support as they're doing that independent work. It's common for our parents to say, oh, no, not my kid. My kid's not going there. Sometimes we have parents who are resistant, again, because of how and what continuation was when we were kids. But like I said, that has changed dramatically with changes in the ed code. And I hear over and over and over from our parents, this isn't what I thought. My kid is flourishing. I've never seen success in my kid like this before. This saved my student. This saved our family. So we have a lot of accolades from our parents once they come and once they understand what San Antonio is all about. We have students right now who just transferred to us at the semester who were unsure of us in week 1. And now in week 2, they're like, you have really good teachers here. And I really like it here. And had I known this existed before, I would have come sooner. In the case of credit recovery, sometimes kids that prolong coming to San Antonio to make up the credits, they get to a point where it becomes mathematically impossible to stay at CHS. And so when they come to us to stay. Most of our kids are able to make up credits for those who need to, and they go back to CHS. Some kids make up credits and they say, you know what? This is the place for me. This is where I'm flourishing, and they choose to stay. So it's kind of 3 different kinds of kids that come. The kids who are flourishing and they want to stay, the kids who need credit recovery, and the kids who come because they need a smaller environment. We do have our website on the screen, and there's also a QR code that will connect you with some of our student videos. Our kids have really positive things to say, and anytime you want to come just to find out about it, A lot of people are surprised that we have a second high school in the district. So please feel free to come by and visit. Come by, get a tour. Uh, Ask us any questions you like. We're right across the street from the district office, and we would be more than happy to have you there.
Okay, am I up? Yes. All right, so let's talk about some changes in the course registration process for the upcoming 26-27 course registration process. So prior to this year, prior to us going over to the ARIES system, we had students enter their course requests on a Google form, which was then downloaded to our previous SIS system. Now we're using ARIES. All course requests goes directly into ARIES. So all students, we were in their classroom today and they worked on entering their course request directly in ARIES. So everyone should have a working course request where we had them select 6 courses and we discussed all those options with them. They have up until the 13th to adjust any of those course request options. We do have some new courses that are starting this year. New this year within the science is Earth and Space Science. That is replacing our physical science. This science does meet the D lab requirement for A through G requirement as well. We also have 2 new elective courses. Well, not new, but we have the second part to them. So we started Cyber and Net, and we also started Careers in Education. So those courses started this year. So now we are going to be offering the second part to those courses next year. So if students weren't enrolled this year, they have the opportunity to start those courses if they're interested for next year. The course request process, you start this process by going to this Claremont High School website. So this is how you access all of the course request information and get to ARIES and get to enter your course request. So the first place, and we went over this with students today as we were in their classrooms, and we directed them to the website. On the website here, where students will go first, they will go directly to the front page of the Claremont High School website. Below there will be a tab, and on that icon is the Counseling Career Department. Once students click there, it's going to bring them to the homepage of the counseling site. There they'll find this banner at the top where it says, click here to start. And that's where they'll go. Before we go there, I just want to highlight some of the links to the right-hand side. So there is where you can have access to direct email to any of the counselors and our support staff. Under the counseling links, that first one is the CHS Counseling YouTube channel. So every presentation that we have, any evening presentations, oftentimes when we go into the classroom, we record all of those and we post them on the Claremont High School Counseling YouTube channel so that you can go back and view, students can go back and view anything that they may have missed or anything that they want to review. I also want to highlight the graduation UC NCAA requirements. As Ms. Ceccarelli mentioned prior, there's 3 things that we review each time we meet with students to go over course requests. Number 1, we want to ensure that they're on track with for graduation. So we do a quick graduation check each time that we meet with students to confirm their course requests. The other thing is we always ask them, what's your post-secondary plan? What are you planning to do after you graduate Claremont High School? We want to ensure that their courses that they're selecting are meeting their post-graduation plans. So if students are interested in 4-year college or universities, we monitor them, ensure that they're completing the A through G requirements. Third, we always ask, are you an athlete planning to participate in an NCAA to ensure that they're meeting those separate NCAA requirements as well? So that's the a side-by-side comparison of those requirements, something that we review yearly with each student in sophomore year, junior year, and we do it 3 times with them during their senior year on there as well. So once students click on the click here to start, it brings them to the home registration page. This outlines the 4-step process that we do with students. Step 1 started today. We were in every student's English course and we reviewed course requests and went through how to enter those. Step 2 is this evening presentation that we're having tonight for students and families. Step 3, students will have up until Friday, February 13th to enter their course requests. So they can go back in as many times as they want to update, change on these course requests. We let students know that counselors are available at lunchtime if they want to discuss any of their courses. We always recommend them to speak to their current teachers as well to help with that selection process for their courses. The last step is we go into each student's PE course. If students aren't enrolled in the PE course, or if they have sports PE, they're in dance or they're in band, we call those students out individually by call slip. So there'll be 2 days that we'll go down to PE. We'll meet with students individually just to confirm their course requests, check their graduation progress, start discussing their post-secondary plan and some of their goals for Claremont High School and beyond. If once students scroll down, this is where we really get into the course request process. So they'll identify their class. So students, rising sophomores, are class of 2029. So they'll click on the class of 2029 link, and it's going to bring them to this calendar, just some of the things that we just reviewed in the prior screen. Counselors are in classrooms today, webinar tonight. Ms. Gosno, the NYP coordinator, she's going to be on to talk just a little bit after I'm done here, but she has some presentations for parents and students as well, for students who are currently in the NYP program or currently who are interested in the IB Middle Years program as well. As I mentioned before, this is an important date, February 13th, Aries course selection closes. So at February 13th at midnight, that's when it closes and students aren't able to update their course requests any longer. Don't be alarmed, because we are going to have those individual meetings, as I mentioned, with students. And at that time, if there's anything that we need to change, we're able to change that with the student in front of us as well. This arrow here is pointing to some important links. There are the webinar slides. So if you ever want to go back and review the slides that we went over tonight, that's there on that link there. There's the course selection form, and right below that is the Aries link, and that's where students are going to go in. It also has links to the UC NCAA requirements. There is an instructional video as well. So we were in the students' classrooms. We went through this step by step with them. We're also going to review some of those tonight, but there is a step-by-step video that was recorded by the counseling department that students and parents can go and view to have additional assistance with completing the course request form after tonight. Here is the copy of the worksheet that we provided with students. So we went through step by step. First, students selected their start time. As Ms. Ceccarelli mentioned earlier, we have 2 start times. Zero period start, which starts at 7:25. A first period starts, which starts at 8:25, where that's where the majority of our students will start their day. And then if students wanted a 7-period day, so with the whole PE requirement, adding the world history, sophomore year becomes kind of tight. So students are able to enroll in a 7-period day in order to take some of those specialized programs or electives as well. So first thing students did, they selected a start time. Then there's 2 courses that are pre-selected for them. So we kind of, as we're doing this, we review the graduation requirements. We touch on the A through G requirements as well. So we go over 4 years of English. That is pre-selected for you because you must be enrolled in English for all 4 years. The only sophomore English class that we do offer at Claremont High School is NYP English 10. So that's why that was pre-selected for every student. World history was the second choice that they made. 3 years of history required for high school graduation. So that's why that's pre-selected as well. Students begin taking their social science history courses sophomore year. So that's an addition to that's added to a sophomore schedule that, again, makes it really tight, where we have to have some flexibility and creativity for students to continue with some of those specialized programs and elective. Then we just kind of went through what science options we talked about. We have a lot of students who elect to take chemistry over the summer to take higher level sciences. So we kind of went through that with them, how that would look. If they're in bio, they go to chemistry now. If students were in physical science, they go to biology. And we went through, if they wanted to take chemistry over the summer, what advanced science level options were available to them. And we indicated that on their course request form. Then we went through math, world language, PE, and elective courses. So with those there, that equals 6 courses. So later on, we'll talk about how there is that flexibility in that electives, what options we provided for students within that. This right here is the course request screen. So once they click on that, go to Aries, fill out Aries course request, it's going to bring students directly to this. From here, they're going to click on classes, which will take them to this screen where they enter course requests. And this is where we begin the process of entering their courses directly into Aries. once students are here, they start to select courses. I highlighted this screen because this is what I think is one of the best upgrades that we got with the area system. So when students select their course, the student is selecting NYP English 10 that all students must take. It gives them the subject area, the type of course, what area meets for UC CSU requirement, any prereqs that are required for that student to take that course, and it lists the course description directly right there for the students so they can see what's being taught in that class right directly there. They no longer have to log out, go to another screen to find out the course description for that. Once they identify that this is the course, they will request it as their primary request, and it starts to populate right here in their course request. As you can see, the student has selected NYP English 10, NYP Integrated Math 2, and then we just kind of went through each subject and had students choose from their required courses to the PE to any elective courses that they were putting in. The discussion that we had in classes, because sophomore year, as I mentioned, becomes extremely tight with scheduling. So sophomores can take 2 electives if they have completed their 20 credits of PE. Majority of students have not completed their 20 credits of PE, so they're enrolled in the PE class, which leaves 1 elective. Most students, that elective is filled with their world language. World language is considered an elective at the high school level. So that leaves students not much choice with any elective thing. So we went over some options that students can do. One of those options is having a 0 through 6 period. So taking 7 classes, that opens up the day for another elective course. Not all students are super excited about starting school at 7:30 and ending school at 3:30. So that's where that fitness PE course, that online course for PE comes into play. So students can take a 0 through 5. With online PE, it removes the PE from that a period within the day where they can fit in their elective. So it's important for us, and I know it's important for students to continue on with specialized programs and electives like being an ASB, being in a yearbook, maybe being in the theater program. So that flexibility with that fitness PE definitely opens up that schedule for students. So I don't want students to feel like it's tight. They can't do those special things or activities, but there is always some flexibility with some things that we can do. So I definitely encourage, if that is a concern when they're meeting with their counselor, confirming their course request, kind of discuss those options to see what may be available to open up their schedule so they can take some of those specialized electives and activities that they engage in. One thing that I want to highlight, because I definitely want students to consider when choosing electives or programs, is our ROP programs, so the regional occupational programs. So these are career exploration courses. The ones highlighted here are what we offer on campus at Claremont High School. So we offer audio production 1 and 2, mental and behavioral health 1 and 2, sports medicine 1 and 2, stage technology levels 1, 2, 3, and 4, and intro to engineering and design and civil engineering. There's also actually a third part that we offer to that course as well. These courses, if students complete the 2-year pathway, they are considered a career pathway completer, and they're recognized at the graduation as well. In addition to the courses we offer on campus, students can take courses through the Baldy View ROP program. A lot of them held at the Upland or the Ontario Occupational Center in different schools throughout the Baldy View region, and they have courses in cosmetology, welding, HVAC, emergency medical responder, welding. There's lots of options for students. Miss Claudia Heil, who is our career technician, she's housed in a library. So any information that students want on ROP courses that they can take outside of Claremont, I encourage them to see Miss Heil in the Career Center, and she's able to guide them through that and let them know what's offered. A lot of these courses are offered over the summer as well. So if students are looking for opportunities and things to do over the summer, this is an excellent opportunity to enroll in some of these Baldy View ROP courses. It's important, if students are interested in this, let your counselor know, because some of these courses start earlier in the day, and it requires some travel. So we have to be flexible and creative with the schedule so students have an earlier release in order to be able to get to these courses that are offered offsite. Again, we work with students on creating a course schedule. that's going to meet their goals and allow them to progress to their post-secondary plan. But we also want students to be involved and well-rounded students. So we encourage students, not only are they choosing courses, but we want students to be involved on campus. Each year we have a club rush where all of our clubs, we have over 70 clubs that are active on campus, are out there at lunchtime, and they have a fair where students are able to get information, sign up for clubs, figure out when the club meetings are. I always tell students, if you can't find the club, if there's something that doesn't gain your interest, you can start a club. And we have students every year that are starting new clubs. So in addition to choosing courses, we want students to get out there and get involved on campus and choose different things to get involved in as well. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Gosno, who's going to talk a little bit about the IB Middle Years program.
Hi, guys, and good evening. I had the privilege of being in all the students' classrooms last week. And it was really actually exciting because it was the first group that I started with in sixth grade. And so I've seen them every single year and kind of walk them through the process of registration and what each year has to offer. So that part has been really great to be a part of that journey with them. This school year was the first time that we offered across the board all MYP classes to all students. I just, as it is a new process, want to reiterate that that means students are taking MYP classes and they are MYP course students. That does not mean that they are earning the MYP certificate. In order to earn the MYP certificate, next year students would also need to complete a project. So when they opt into the program, they are saying that they recognize that a project is part of their 10th grade year, and I will be speaking to that in just 1 second. Can we advance the slide? All right. So what you can expect from your 10th grade year, along with the IB philosophy of that international mindedness and developing of skills, our 10th grade year really starts putting more ownership on our students and their learning, that they have more choice in the way that they design it. We're kind of developing skills as we go. And then 10th grade year really elevates that ability. Classroom centered is really looking at discussion, problem solving, kind of really explaining thinking, and going into citing multiple pieces of evidence. So the complexity of the work students are doing are not only increasing in topics, but also in evidence and kind of analysis. There's longer tasks that are required in their 10th grade year, not only with longer in time to kind of unpack, but also in conjunction with other subject areas. So it is our year that there's a lot of interdisciplinary connections between subject areas. So for example, you will see that our English and social science, every single unit, if not is interdisciplinary, is parallel in content, theme, or kind of a universal understanding that they are unpacking. So it's really trying to guide the students that to take more ownership of their learning, allow the teachers to take more of that coaching perspective of guidance, but not always as much as they may have seen before, where they're really like giving them all the knowledge, as more as now they'll see discovering their own kind of journey, evidence, and pathway. As I mentioned, if students are opting into the program to earn the MYP certificate, they will complete a project. And I'm going to go over 2 slides, and it is a very brief overview. And my final slide will be the information on the parent meeting. And we will also update the links on the website, so they will be housed there for easy access for you, to really go into all the depth and complexity of the curriculum that they will see, as well as the project. But in a brief overview, students complete what is called a personal project, which I like to define more as like a passion project. They identify their own goal, and then they decide at the end of this goal what they will achieve to show their own success, which is really broad. So normally kids start to explore a current interest or hobby to get better at something they're already invested in. They start to explore a future profession of something that they're possibly thinking to pursue, or they identify something that they've always wanted to do but not been able to give the time or space to. So they defined like, hey, in this topic of I love writing, I haven't given enough time to writing because I've been overwhelmed with X, Y, and Z. I really want to set my goal to write a short story that's 10 pages long, right? So they say, I want to improve my writing and my ability to develop characters, and I'm going to show that by writing a short story, right? So that could be one kid, where another kid who wanted to explore being a fireman, he wanted to complete the Fire Explorer program. So you have two different, I want a goal, and how I'm going to show it looks different. And so this is very unique because it is unique to each student, because it's their goal defined by their passions and how they will succeed at the end by the outcome that they describe. So we really walk our students through this process because it is broad, but the structure and system has really been tightened up over the last 3 years of implementation to look like, can I move forward, please? This system. So not only do they get an advisor that they meet with in homeroom and is their homeroom teacher, it is usually also one of their teachers that they have throughout the school day. So if they don't see them daily, they will see them at least weekly in homeroom. But one thing that's really great about the personal project is one Wednesday in each triad, students are pulled from their courses, and we have like an on-site field trip or seminar that students attend. And this has really given them the opportunity to get the perspective and the understanding of the project, as well as develop their thinking and get some of their hours completed. So they're working on it within the school day. And that doesn't mean they're going to complete it all during the school day, depending on the complexity and their goal itself. It may not be attainable to do that, but they really do to get the ability to start the planning, research, and process of it. In Triad 1, we focus on what is the project and give them overview and guidelines. So although there will be informational meetings for your students at the end of the school year, some students come into 10th grade not knowing what they are going to do, and that's okay. In Triad 2, we talk about now creating your project. What's your goal and how will you define success at the end of it? What research do you need to do to ensure that you are knowledgeable enough to implement your plan? And then we talk about a timeline to your project, and we talk about what would be your first step to get started, where then they start really implementing their project semester 2. So these pullout days have really allowed them to get the support they need, as well as that time in the school day to kind of prioritize it, and be able to get that extra support from me, from our DP coordinator. And we have mentor students from 11th and 12th grade that have completed the project themselves that come in and work with our students during these seminars. So, although this is a very brief understanding of kind of what you can expect in 10th grade, there is their own, excuse me, a standalone presentation for MYP, and that will be happening Wednesday, February 11th at night, and Thursday, February 12th, at a lunchtime meeting. All of these will be on Zoom, and the meeting ID and passcode is here. It's also been in the newsletter, and it will be sent out to you directly.
Couple of reminders: course requests are due by midnight on Friday, the February 13th. That's when it closes. Students are unable to make any changes after that date. Counselors will review course requests with each student via their freshman English course. If students aren't enrolled in a freshman English course, they have team sports, or they're in dance, or they're in band, we will have call slips and call them out during that same time. And as always, counselors are available during lunch to answer questions throughout this process. So students, if there are any questions, no appointment needed. Please come in and see us during the lunchtime for any assistance with that. Okay. So we'll open it up for questions. I think we have some in the chat or the Q&A.
Do you want me to read them, Mr. Anderson?
Sure.
Okay. I'm just going to start at the top. We'll work down. Are the summer school classes likely to be 8 to noon again, or do you anticipate them going past noon? We do not have the times. Historically, that has been the time that the summer school hours, but we have not received confirmation. And that will come out via Dr. Mitchell's email, hopefully within the next week. I'm sorry, we don't have the specific answer tonight. Um,
So Andrea might be able to answer this question. What is the agenda for the MYP presentation on the 11th and 12th? Is it supplemental to today's information?
Absolutely. It is going to go in depth into the content and curriculum just to give purview and about what that experience will be, as well as a lot of detail about the project to start kind of that understanding the framework, the expectations, and that perspective of what can I do to get my students starting to think about what might be a goal or topic they want to pursue within the project.
Next question is, can students take marine biology junior year if they take earth and space science instead of chemistry sophomore year? That's a great question. I know this is a new course to us this year. There is a course description there, but I would anticipate students who complete the semester of biology, meaning their life science, as well as students who complete their physical science requirement through the earth science would be eligible to take the marine biology.
We have another question. Can they take a course like world history through a charter school? So all outside courses would have to be approved through by the student's counselor. So that would be, I would suggest that your student come and talk to their counselor at lunch so that they can look at their schedule, make recommendations. Um, outside, on the one slide that I read, we will, per the handbook, we will not be taking anything that's weighted back to our transcript. But when we look at courses over summer school, one of the things we're looking at, are they approved through UC doorways? Because that means that it would be A through G eligible. So there's lots of things to consider. So that's probably a conversation we want to have with your student and take a look at the possibilities. The next one is for chem. Will they have in-person labs at some point? I'm thinking that this question is referring to summer school. Summer school is virtual. Um, and so that's sort of the trade-off of having chemistry in summer school versus in line, I mean, in person during the semester, because in a semester is 18 weeks and a summer school session's 2 weeks. So unfortunately, for summer school, there are not in-person labs. The next question is how do we check confirm that students have opted into MYP? On the course request form today, the very top says that you opt into MYP. There's a code that the student enters. But Ms. Gosnell, I'm assuming they can also check with you. Okay, so then you can email Ms. Gosnell too to double check, but have your students, when we were in the classroom today, we showed your children how to access the course request form and to go back and check it to show you the links on that course request. There's different links that explain different classes. But if when you go back to the form and they can, the worksheet that we gave them, they can scan the QR code and open the form and the very top question is about opting into MYP.
The next question, does doing a sport give you PE credit if you don't take sports PE? If so, how many credits do you get? If not, how many credits do you get from sports PE? So unfortunately, in order for students to earn PE credit for a sport at Claremont High School, they must be enrolled in the team sports course. If students are enrolled in the team sports course and play in a sport, they get 5 credits per semester. If they're not enrolled in a team sports course and they're playing the sports, they're unable to earn credits for that sport.
The next question is, are all summer school classes going to be online? Credit recovery is in person and ethnic studies is in person. And integrated math 2 is in person. Okay.
I just want to reiterate that this presentation will be posted on the school's website, most likely by the beginning of next.
Thank you, Mrs. Vogel. I think I meant to say that at the beginning and I forgot, but yes, it will be posted. Um,
The next question, if my child takes chemistry over the summer in order to give her time to take another elective, does she then have to take another science class during the school year? If she doesn't take another one during the school year, does that look bad in the eyes of colleges? Um, when we reviewed the A through G requirements briefly before, the requirement was 2 years, 1 year of a life science, 1 year of a physical science, 3 years recommended. So if a student does take chemistry over the summer at the end of their freshman year, they technically have completed 2 years. So if they did not take it their sophomore year and resume to taking a science junior and senior year, they still have the opportunity to take 4 years of science. So I think that would be an option that if they did take chemistry over the summer, that they can not be enrolled in that sophomore year and still have the opportunity to hit the recommended and exceed the recommended for that fourth year of science.
if a student wants to take chemistry over the summer, do they need to complete both summer school sessions in order to earn the 10 credits? Yes.
Um, Julie, let me double check on that because they're of the testing requirement for a student not to be enrolled in science sophomore year. For if that is approved for them not to be enrolled in a science during their sophomore year because there is a state testing requirement.
Oh, the question before?
Mhm.
Okay. Um, Can our students, yes, students are welcome to come and talk to us at lunch. Right now, we are to date, this whole week, we've been in classrooms talking to students. Next week, we start senior credit checks. So the time that we open up to talk to students is lunch. They do not need an appointment, so they can come by and see us. Um, Um, so there's a question about team sport course can also mean, yes, track sports. So when we say team sports, we're talking about it could be track, it could be soccer. You're right. Some of the team sports are like football is football, and that's team sports football. So some are taught by teachers. So when you see it on your student schedule, it might say team sports golf because Coach Lynch is a PE teacher at school, but team sports refers to any CHS sport. And the team sports is that 6 period PE, correct? Um, does the test to skip AB calculus affect your GPA? Um, no, it does not count as a class. The test doesn't affect your GPA. Um, So it says, I'm afraid I still have the question. So it's a state law. That's not our law. The PE, when it asks about what was the rule? Students must have their PE credits fulfilled by the beginning of sophomore year created. My son plans to participate in sports throughout his time at CHS and will fulfill the PE credits eventually. The new rule forces him and others in the position to do more PE than other students, which is not his focus in high school. So it's a state law. So all schools um, have had to change the way we've all had to change it. So they would like students to be continuously enrolled. And I think the law was put in place because there were students who put off doing PE. So it was a barrier to graduation. So they changed the law and now we have to have students continuously enrolled. If they're playing a sport, then they could be enrolled in team sports and then they would get credit. If they're playing all 4 years, if they're in team sports, then they will have completed. Once they've completed their PE credits, they do not have to be enrolled in team sports.
So there's one, they keep popping in. If your student is possibly going to play sports in college, how will parents know that the student is taking the required classes? So there is a worksheet on the Claremont High School website on the counseling tab that will help you track that. We track this with students each year. So each year that they go through the course request, we track their grad requirements. We track the students meeting A through G requirements, and we also track their completion, if they're prospective student athletes, their completion of meeting the NCAA requirements. So that's something that if your student wants a copy of, I'm sure we're more than happy to provide that to them, as well as that worksheet that helps out to track that. That is available on our website as well. Where were we at?
I think we're at, so are students in IM1 not allowed to accelerate in math until their junior year? Mm. So the pathway would be that students would continue to IM2, and then they could take Enhanced 3 AP Pre-Calc their junior year, or they could take IM3 their junior year and pre-calculus in the summer, and then they could take AP Calculus AB as seniors. When can students start taking classes at the community college? We have dual enrollment classes which offer students both college and high school credit, and Art 199 and Art 110 are on the summer school form, or tentatively on the summer school form, and they are on, I think Muse 113 is on the course request form for next year, for sophomore year, I should say.
The next one unanswered, I think, is were students supposed to mark or check a certain box to take chemistry during the summer? So the box on the worksheet was not a summer school enrollment. It's just a box to check so that students can identify the replacement course for chemistry if they completed chemistry over the summer, so we would know what course they wanted their sophomore year. That's what that box was there for. It's not a summer school registration form. Registration for summer school will be out in the next couple weeks. Dr. Mitchell will release and send that information out to families. And this one, I'm not sure if I fully understand, but I'll try to answer it best I can. Thank you, but if my child is doing IM2 next year, will they be able to take IM3 sophomore year? So I'm assuming that this is for rising sophomores, that if they're taking IM2 next year, that would be in their sophomore year. The student would have options for IM3 junior year. So we do, our math CUSD and our math department has created acceleration pathways within our school year, where a student who completes IM2, they are able to accelerate that following year with a course called Enhanced Integrated Math 3/AP Pre-Calculus, where they're taking Integrated Math 3 and AP Pre-Calculus in the same year, which allows them to advance to calculus that following year.
You know what? I don't, someone just let me know that Dr. Mitchell posted the tentative dates and times in last Sunday's parent bulletin. I was checking the staff bulletin and I didn't see the times, but a parent just texted me and let me know that the times for summer school were posted in the parent bulletin. Let's see. And let's see. Sorry, you guys, I'm reading the questions.
So is there any AP classes available without taking chemistry in the summer? Student is in biology for 9th grade. Also, when will we know if enrollment in summer school chemistry is set? So the only AP courses that are available to students who are sophomores would be if they're accelerated in science, math, or world language. We do not offer any AP courses in world history or English. So if a student's accelerated in science by taking chemistry, they're eligible to take an AP level science course. If the student has completed level 3 of a world language, they're able to take an AP world language course as well. Or if a student has completed integrated math 3 freshman year, they're eligible to enroll in AP pre-calculus. When will we know the enrollment in summer school? Once summer school applications are available, that information will be sent out to families. Well, there'll be a list of 0 and that's being answered. Is there a path for students to advance? Being answered.
Oh,
Looks like they're all being answered.
well, and they were
I can
asking
answer.
about the orchestra have
Mm-hmm.
priority for PE. I'll let you answer that one, Mr.
Yeah, so fitness PE priority is going to be given to students who are in special programs and electives such as orchestra.
Mr. Rance, I'm going to drop in real quick. There is a question right at the beginning, a brief description of unified bodybuilding. So unified bodybuilding is just like regular bodybuilding. The difference is it is combined with our orthopedically handicapped students. So students who choose to enroll in unified bodybuilding will not only get a chance to work out, but they will also be coaching our students who are part of our orthopedically handicapped program. So it's a helping program and it's a workout program. It's both of those things.
Thank you, Mr. Troche. Okay, there's a question. How do students sign up to test out of Calculus AB? Their math teacher, that will be provided in their math class. That information will be provided by, I believe, Miss Chua. Okay. All right. Well, I thank you all for being here this evening. I hope we've answered all of your questions. And we really appreciate that you've joined us in this course, helping your student with this course selection process. Please let your students know that they are welcome to come and see us at lunch and that we look forward to seeing them via their PE class. And remember, with team sports, we will be sending a call slip for them.